Okay, mindfulness. Grabbing hold of our mind when we're in that place where we're not in our comfort zone, we're not in the learning zone, we're not really learning things, we're just panicking, or even worse, we're outside of panic, even farther out there, and we want to grab hold of our mind. There's a lot of different ways and techniques of doing this, and they kind of all fall under the category of mindfulness skills. As always, I'm not a DBT counselor. As a DBT patient, client, however you want to put that. Watch at your own risk. I'm doing this for wide variety of personal reasons. And I'm the lady that invented the skills and wrote the manual and all that. They have nothing to do with me. I do have permission to read the materials online without and to share my own experiences and my own perceptions, and of course I'm just not sharing other people's. I may have made a mistake there, and because I'm doing this the best that I can. And as always, I recommend, and it's recommended, that you get into a mindfulness group, a DBT group, or especially a private practitioner. But when you're going into the group or the practitioner, keep in mind that you're creating your own safe space. So be strong, be aware, try and stick to the materials. So ideas for taking hold of your mind by practicing non-judgmentalness. Leaving out comparisons, judgments, and assumptions. You can practice observing judgmental thoughts and statements, saying in your mind, a judgmental thought arose in my mind. Count judgmental thoughts and statements by moving objects or pieces of paper from one pocket to another, by clicking a sports counter, or by making a piece of paper, marking a piece of paper. So if you're out and you're going to go for a walk and you want to try and practice doing non-judgmental thinking, maybe put a bunch of beads in your pocket, or safety pins, or little tiny pebbles or something. And then if you find yourself and you catch yourself on a judgmental thought, or in my case, it could be like if I catch myself saying the F word, hey, maybe I should practice that. Then switch your beads over to the other side. I don't have no problem with saying the F word, but like when it's out of control, then it's out of control. So there's always that balance. Okay. Replace judgmental thoughts and statements with non-judgmental thoughts and statements. Tips for replacing judgment by stating the facts. Describe the facts of the event or situation, only what is observed with your senses. Describe the consequences of the event. Keep to the facts. Describe your own feelings in response to the facts. Remember, emotions are not judgments. 4. Observe your judgmental facial expressions, postures, and voice tones, including voice tones in your head. Change judgmental expressions, postures, and voice tones. That was number 5. Number 6. Tell someone what you did today non-judgmentally, or about an event that occurred. Stay very concrete, only relate to what you observed directly. 7. Write out a non-judgmental description of an event that prompted an emotion. 8. Write out a non-judgmental blow-by-blow account of a particularly important episode in your day. You know, I'm just going to say frankly that part of my problem with the mental health place was that I feel like it actually came down to a situation where my dog was unsafe because he went there with us. And I felt like sometimes that the material was unsafe. And this is definitely one of those times. So I'm going to say that I'm going to... I would remove some of those words and maybe change them over to a different... So instead of staying very concrete, because I've gotten a lot of threats about, I would say stay very factual, stick to the facts versus getting emotional. felt, and I have a really bad problem with this. I'm terrible at describing facts. I'm much better at getting involved in the emotions of anything. So stay very factual. Because I don't think it's necessary to actually, here, I'm just gonna change this myself. But this is my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. This is my copy. I'm allowed to, non-judgmental descriptive account. All right, so then I'm going to reread those. So tell someone what you did today non-judgmentally. Now I'm really going to get in trouble. Probably these won't even be there tomorrow, but whatever. Tell someone what you did today non-judgmentally or about an event that occurred. Stay very factual. Only relate what you observed directly. 7. Write out a non-judgmental description of an event that prompted an emotion. 8. Write out a non-judgmental descriptive account of a particularly important episode in your day. Describe both what happened in your environment and what your thoughts, feelings, and actions were. Leave out any analysis of why something happened or why you thought, felt, or acted as you did. Stick to the facts that you observed. 9. Imagine a person you're angry with. Here we are with angry again. Bring to mind what the person has done that has caused you so much anger. Try to become that person, seeing life from that person's point of view. Imagine that person's feelings, thoughts, fears, hopes, and wishes. Imagine that person's history and what has happened in his or her history. Imagine understanding that person. When judgmental, practice half smiling and or willing hands. And those are skills that are in the distress tolerance handout, half smiling and willing hands. Willing hands is having your hands open, and then that creates more of a willing attitude. You can make it stiff willing hand and say something entirely different, like, obviously that's a much more violent or aggressive mood, but willing hands are like, I think there's something in the Christian Bible about being willing. So if I was going to do, I'm just going to say an aside, if I was going to do number 9, the one where it's imagine a person that you're angry with, if I was going to maybe choose a different emotion, let's choose a different emotion. Super cool. Oh, they didn't give me the emotions. Did they not give me the emotions? Oh, they did give me the emotions. In my least scribbled on copy. So these are my favorite things. They're so cool. There's just like all these lists. Oh, categories, descriptions. I love it when other people do stuff that I'm suck at. And since I suck at describing, these are great. They describe them. So like the emotion regulation handout for emotions, describing emotions, anger. And then it gives a whole bunch of anger words like anger, aggravation, agitation, annoyance, bitterness, exasperation, ferocity, frustration, fury, grouchiness, grumpiness, hostility, indignation, irritation, outrage, rage, vengefulness, wrath. Then it goes to prompting events for a feeling anger, having an important goal blocked or prevented, losing power, losing status, losing respect, experiencing physical pain, you or someone you care about being insulted. These are all anger things. And then interpretations of events that prompt feelings of angers. So, the prompting event is you have a feeling of an important goal blocked or prevented, and then the interpretation of that event could be that you believing that you have been treated unfairly, believing that important goals are being blocked, or that pleasurable activities are, so that's anger. And then on the back it has like biological changes and experiences of anger, your muscles tightening, your teeth clamping, your hands clenching, just a bunch of that stuff. Expressions and actions of anger, so like, you could physically attack someone, or you could like make aggressive or threatening gestures, crying, grinning, a red or flushed face. After effects of anger are like the physical effects left in your body. So like narrowing of attention, you're kind of get stuck ruminating about the situation that made you angry in the first place. And then types of secondary emotions to anger. And actually, anger itself is a secondary emotion. That's the way that I originally learned of anger, was that it was a secondary emotion. So then there's a bunch of the negative emotions like disgust, envy, fear, that kind of stuff, with those complete pages that are so cool. But what I wanted to focus on is that there's also corresponding, it's like the 7 deadly sins, and I think the 7 virtues are the other part. So when you say that one sentence where it's like focusing on anger, you could take one of the happy emotions and be like, imagine a person that you're happy with. Bring to mind what the person has done that has caused so much happiness. Try to become that person, seeing life from that person's point of view. Imagine that person's feelings, thoughts, fears, hopes, and wishes. Imagine that person's history and what has happened in his or her history. Imagine understanding that person. So you could do it with happiness. You could do it with love. It's just interesting. That's all. I just think that the focus on anger is good, but all the emotions are big, strong things, and it's good to get a handle on all of them.